Played him. We've got some cars coming up along the main straight. Oh, punched in the face by Evan Rice. No burnouts. All right, guys. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. Make sure you stay tuned. Because here is Brian Chambliss. He's going to celebrate his win here at Michigan. He's going to do it in style with the burnout. Oh, Sturgill sliding in to celebrate as well. Alright guys, with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have driver interviews. Make sure you guys stay tuned. So go down to the bottom lane to make it a 3 versus 2 on the bottom. And the outside line has just lost all of its momentum. Everyone going down to the bottom lane now. They'll be getting ready to reset for the next couple of laps, as we're going to have 3 laps left to run when Sanchez gets across the start finish line here. But it's going to be interesting to see whether Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Michigan International Speedway, and welcome to the Autism It's Not for Wimps 100 or 150. I think it's 150. Just gotta double check this. At the Autism It's Not for Wimps 160. My apologies. I got it very wrong. So, welcome to the battleground for today's racing action. Looks like everyone is just starting to get ready for a bit of a pit party here. Some people doing burnouts, some people still out on laps. Well, Thomas Harmon's still out on track while the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi doing some burnouts in the pit lane. Getting it up on that curb. There is the 12 of Matt Burgess running a Dr. Pepper scheme. Looks like he is about to pull up and bring it to the pits. Joe Salama in the 9. He is getting out there to just do a couple of laps by the looks of things. There's also the 2 of Chris Champeau who is out on track. As Brian Harris is now doing some burnouts in the pit lane. Joe Slama currently 14th. Chris Champeau currently in 18th in the standings. It looks like the pit party is starting to move. Everyone makes their way out onto the track. It is the 83 of Adam Bowden. Let's see him back out there on track. Of course, we've got Thomas Harmon. We also have the return of Juan Pablo Sanchez. That's right, Juan Jaron Sanchez is back out on track. He's getting a little hello there from Matt Burgess. And Niederhelm in the 66. Everyone's getting all formed up here. On the inside of the track, saw the 6 of Robert Duvall. His car looking very different than it did to when we had the clash at the Coliseum. As everyone is ready for the pit party. And we're off and racing. Looking at the 38 Thomas Harmon, currently P2 to Matt Horton, who is on top of the timetable. Oh, it sounds like someone got into the fence already. Rubbing there between Salama and Crampton. 4 wide, and that's not going to work. That was Salama in the fence. And that is Adam Bowden in the 83 as well. Like he got a big whack from Steinhauser. Go back to looking at Brian Pizzakemi in the 78. Oh, in the background. But the 8 of Brian Harris and the 2 of Chris Champeau. Steinhauser involved. Steinhauser doing a big backwards burnout to get that car to stop. As Harmon and Pizzakemi try to pick their way through this field. There's a 64 of Jonas Marquez, the ASPCA. Oh, it's very loose. It was the 13 of Travis Amasia. Getting right down on that very inner part of the track. Just up ahead of Thomas there was the 4 of Sanchez and the 24 of Frank Isaacson. They're very loose early in the run and then incredibly tight for the rest of it. Oh, as Frank goes around, so too does the 4 of Sanchez. Although not around, Frank massively into the fence. Sanchez all the way down to the inside of the track. Pretty sure he whacked the inside wall. The 61 TJ Cranton just behind him. Slama making a move on Marquez. Gets the move made. Now he's charging after the 61 of Cranton. Looks like Marquez fancies himself a chance at the inside of Crampton as well. Crampton into the fence, he's very loose, and he's around. Marquez finished him off. That's a big whack into the inside fence. That actually broke the right front of Crampton's car there. Brian Pizzakemi, he's currently third. Him and TJ Crampton actually jumped up in front of Thomas Harmon as a round. Goes Harmon and Matt Burgess. Oh. Harmon just absolutely finished off by a 24 of Isaacson. Everyone's dead. The one of Brandon Bennett's in it. Oh, Sam Niederhelm and Chris Champeau also in it. It sounds like someone else was spinning out there as well. Oh, it's a 65. That's Corey Steinhauser. Currently 11th. Pizzakemi and Travis Massio have gone around. Crampton and Sanchez back out on track, and they got Robert Duvall coming up in between them. And Duvall slips up high, just about hits the fence. As Crampton and Sanchez have much better tyres. Oh, and around goes Crampton. Sanchez had nowhere to go there, but into the back of him. Welcome back to the Output Racing League, Jaron Sanchez. Crampton took a long time to tow there. A very hot track temp as well, 47 degrees Celsius 116.6 degrees Fahrenheit for those who are behind the rest of the world. That would be attributing to some of the tightness, but not all of it. The Steinhauser there, currently 11th in the standings still. In front of him is Ken Campbell, and just behind is Joe Slama. Ken Campbell currently 19th, and Slama currently P10, just ahead of Steinhauser. As Steinhauser gets around Ken Campbell, must be on fresher tyres. Oh yeah, he's on much fresher tyres. And Slama is on fresher tyres than Steinhauser by 1 lap. As Ken Campbell just retired to the pits. The 22 people signed up for this race. Strength of fields are 25.46. Slama taking the extreme inside line here. Let's see what he can do to Steinhauser. See if he can get around him. It seems they're about even. Steinhauser with the momentum on the outside line, maintaining position. I see two very different styles on the front stretch. Steinhauser right up by the wall, where Slama goes right down onto the apron. Slama this time gets the move made. Now we're looking at Paul Cox and TJ Crampton. Paul Cox running the Speedway Memes and Motorsports scheme. TJ Crampton running the JEM Esports scheme. And Campbell, Frank Isaacson. Of course, Frank in his Autism Awareness scheme. And Ken Campbell, I don't actually know what scheme that is. Paul Cox. And TJ Crampton starting to catch up to Steinhauser here a little bit. The 13 Travis Masia comes out of the pits. Steinhauser seems to have that higher line a little bit figured out here on fresher rubber. His tyres aren't as fresh as the 13 of Masia. He managed to maintain pace there while Masia was still getting up to speed. And then he went into the fence. Paul Cox is now on his tail, so we've got Speedway Memes and Motorsports and Speedway Memes and Media. Nose to tail. Paul Cox easily got around Steinhauser. Be down on the apron there. That's James Watson just coming out of the pits. B39 of Watson starting to get things rolling. Frank Isaacson followed Steinhauser into the fence coming out of turn 2. Got about 9 laps left to go in this practice session. And Campbell practices his pit entry. Now Sanchez closing in on Steinhauser. Steinhauser got really tight there. Just about wiped out Sanchez. Sanchez practicing his pit entry. Someone who came down before him has wiped out the yellow cone there, sending it to the grass on the infield. Let someone clean that up eventually. There's a 66 of Sam Niederhelm. We have just 6 minutes left in practice here. There is the 2 of Chris Champeau. Oh, and a big slide for the 2 of Chris Champeau. And around was Matt Horton in the 33. We have just 5 minutes left now in practice. Chris Champeau comes back out onto the track, just underneath of Joe Slama. Time is ticking away in practice here. Almost time for qualifying, where each driver will have 2 laps to set a qualifying time, as Joe Slama experimenting with some alternate dimensions. That was way in the background. Pretty sure I saw Frank Isaacson smash the fence. He did. He went around. With Christian Poe and the 9 of Joe Salama side by side. Got about 4 laps left in practice. Christian Poe. He says, if that's practice, I've done it. Now look at Ken Campbell, who's still behind Steinhauser. Got 2 lap fresher tyres on Steinhauser, just hasn't quite reeled him in yet. Oh, and he got very tight there coming through turn 2. Look at the 8 of Brian Harris. Just a solemn minute left here in practice. We are about to go for a commercial break. And when we come back, we will see the result of qualifying. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action for the Autism, it's not for Wimps 160 here from the Michigan International Speedway, coming up shortly. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Michigan International Speedway for the Autism It's Not for Wimps 160. Qualifying is complete, and it's time for our driver lineup. Starting off the pole is going to be the 33 car of Matt Horton, who is not quite on the grid just yet. Starting out of P2 is going to be the 60 of Carl Kraus. P3 will be the 2 of Chris Champeau, with P4 the 3 of Paul Cox. P5 will be the 13 of Travis Massia, with P6 being the 15 of Ken Campbell. P7 the 61 of TJ Crampton, with P8 the 39 of James Watson. P9 will be the 12 of Matt Burgess, with P10 the 9 of Joe Slammer. We're going to have Frank Isaacson, Jaron Sanchez, Brian Harris, Adam Bowden in 83, there he is, the 64 Jonas Marquez, and those are the guys who put in lap times in qualifying. Then we'll kick things off with Thomas Harmon, the first of the non-qualifiers, and 16th. The 66 of Sam Niederhelm, the 65 of Corey Steinhauser, 78 of Brian Pizzacami, the 1 of Brandon Bennett, the 22 of Brian Burchett, and the 6 of Robert DeVore, starting out of the 22nd position. "80 laps around the Michigan International Speedway. This is a 2-mile track, which is why it's a 160-mile race. First start is on green. All restarts will be on the leader, as long as they are within the restart zone. All right, here we go. Pace car is in. And we are off and racing here for the Autism It's Not for Wimps 160 from the Michigan International Speedway Output Racing League, round number 3. And Matt Horton already with a massive lead over the rest of the field. P2 is currently Kyle Kraus, with P3 the 2 of Chris Champeau. Now the aim of the game here is to try and conserve your tyres. You don't want to go burning them up too much, as we have a battle back here. This is for the 6th and 7th position. It was in defense. There's a 39 of James Watson. There's a bit of a cluster back here. A battle for third as the 3 of Paul Cox trying to make his way past the 2 of Chris Champeau. Not going to get there. Now he's under threat from the 15 of Ken Campbell. But Ken Campbell not just content with taking 4th, he's looking for 3rd around the outside of Chris Champeau. He's not going to get there as the 3 of Paul Cox gets a really good run out of the low side of turns 3 and 4. Pulls back up even with the 15 machine. But that giraffe just pulled Ken Campbell past Paul Cox, and now Paul Cox under threat from James Watson. As a 60 of Kyle Kraus. Looks like he's trying to make a move for the lead. Couldn't quite get there. As the 15 of Ken Campbell makes a move on the 2 of Champeau. And Paul Cox got up there just in front of James Watson and managed to take 4th back away. As now the 2 car starting to fall down the order. Did a 61 of TJ Cranton there. He's looking to make some moves. But again, stuck on it inside. You're not going to go very far on the front stretch. Everyone fanning out across the back straight. People run into the wall. 3, Paul Cox trying to make a move on Kyle Kraus. This is for second. We've also got the 61 try to battle the 15. That's for fourth. Top 5 locked in furious battle here. 2 Speedway Memes Motorsports drivers trying to make their way up the order. Of course, TJ Cranton running the JEM Esports logos. But he is also a Speedway Memes Motorsports driver. With 3 wide just behind these guys. The 12 of Matt Burgess on the inside of Chris Champeau and James Watson gets around both of them. And he moves his way up to 6. He's got his eyes on that top 5, but so too does James Watson. And the outside might be the place to be right now. There's no guarantee it's going to be for the entire run. We go 3 wide behind these guys. 64 Jonas Marquez, the 8 of Brian Harris. And I think that is the 9 of Joe Slama as well. Looks like Joe's paint finally loaded in. Now Jaron Sanchez looking to the outside of Brian Harris, trying to make a move. Couldn't get there, and now he's under threat from the 65 of Steinhauser. Steinhauser has the 38 of Thomas Harmon, who makes it 3 wide. And Thomas Harmon takes that position with authority. Now here comes Brian Pizzicami making it 3 wide going into turn 1. And DeForest Sanchez drives around Steinhauser. We go back up towards the front. Furious battling going on here. This is for the 6th position. We also have a side-by-side battle just up ahead of these guys. That's Ken Campbell and TJ Cranton battling over 3rd. 3 of Paul Cox following his Speedway Memes and Motorsports teammate. And it looks like the 61 of Cranton takes over 3rd. 24 Frank Iverson also having a good run here. He's up in a 9th position. Goes towards the front. Paul Cox battling it out with Ken Campbell now. Tried to get that inside line going. Couldn't quite get there. As now the 2 of Chris Champeau makes his way around the outside of Paul Cox for 5th. Paul Cox slots up in behind him in P6. The 12 of Matt Burgess fancies himself, trying to get underneath of Paul Cox. Couldn't quite get there. As all the drivers now trying to settle into a pace. The two of Chris Champeau going for a big move on the 15 of Ken Campbell. Up on the inside of 3 and 4. And Campbell still taking the advantage of that outside line. He maintains position, the 61. TJ Cranton trying to make a move for second on Kyle Kraus. Kraus running on that third seam. Switches down to the second seam for the exit of the corner. Gets himself a good run out. For Jones Sanchez is trying to get around the 39 of James Watson. There's 3 wide up ahead. See the 38 of Thomas Harmon in that one. The 64 Jonas Marquez. The 13 Travis Massia. Harmon definitely driving very hard right now, choosing not to qualify and work his way through the field. And he ended up not getting any of those positions, so now he works to the outside of Jonas Marquez. Sticking in the draft, and the 9 of Joe Salama gets to the inside of Travis Massia. He's going to slide job his way up a position into 9th. Now this is where Thomas Harmon's going to get the advantage over Jonas, using the draft to just pull ahead of him. You can make the move stick in 3 and 4, but you've got to be really quick about it and effectively slide job your way into it. You don't want to get caught on that bottom coming out of 4, or else you're just going to lose all the momentum in the draft. As Thomas Harmon now goes for the move on Travis Massia, and he gets him cleared. Now he's on the tail of Joe Salama in the 9. Just up ahead you can see 3 of Paul Cox closing out with a 12 of Matt Burgess. That got a good run through 1 and 2, and he's going to make that move stick. He almost peeks to the inside of 2 of Chris Champeau, thinks better of it, slides up behind him. As cloud cover befalls the Speedway, it's going to help these guys out for a little bit of grip. Although grip is not necessarily something that they want. They want to be able to slide the rears here a little bit, which they can't do under current circumstances because the track is already too tight for them. Matt Horton still leading away from Kyle Kraus. TJ Cranton in 3rd. As we're already almost a quarter of the way through this race. Okay, 12 from Matt Burgess. Using the draft from Chris Champeau to get around the 3 of Paul Cox. Now he's going to move to the outside, use the draft from Ken Campbell to try and get around the 2 of Chris Champeau. He's not quite going to get there, and Chris Champeau is going to slide up in front of him. Hit a 38 of Thomas Harmon in the background. He's making a move on Frank Isaacson. That's for the 8th position. As Burgess goes to the inside of Champeau now. And he's not going to be able to make that move stick. No drafting help in front of him. Kraus and Crampton battling it out once again. Crampton got to his outside. Oh, I think he just rubbed the wall coming out of 2, but he makes the move stick, takes over P2. Chris Champeau now going for the move on Ken Campbell. And it looks like he's going to make that move stick. That is now the 4th position for Chris Champeau. It's actually going to be interesting to see how the pit stop strategy is going to play out for these drivers. Now to Chris Champeau, battles it out with the 60 of Kyle Kraus for 3rd. Just manages to slide up in front of him. And they go 3 wide behind as Paul Cox looks like he's burnt up all that he's got. He's starting to fall back here a little bit. And there is the 38 of Thomas Harmon now. He's looking to the outside of Paul Cox as well. Thomas Harmon, who started deep in the pack. First car to not qualify. He's already up into the 8th position. Looking for 7th. Oh! Ken Campbell. I think that's the 60 of Kyle Kraus. Just about touching. It's all kicking off here right now. Ken Campbell gets to the inside of the 2 of Chris Champeau. I guess when you gotta go, you gotta go. So now Champeau tries to move around Campbell again. 60 of Kraus, all 4 wheels on the very inside of the track, trying to maintain position on Paul Cox. But Cox with that outside run in 1 and 2 maintains and pulls ahead and opens up the door for the 38 Thomas Harmon to get around Kraus. Chris Champeau still trying to furiously work on the inside of Ken Campbell. Got his nose ahead for the moment. As you can see, Thomas Harmon also trying to work over Paul Cox. That's for 6. Kind of spread out here a little bit. Chris Champeau really does get a good run on the inside of 3 and 4. He just can't do too much with it. When he catches up to the 15 of Campbell, almost contact there actually. Champeau was trying to side draft off of Campbell a little bit. But Campbell just goes so deep into 1 and 2. Carries all that momentum through the corner. He maintains position. Now the 12 of Matt Burgess fancies a move on the 2 of Chris Champeau. And he gets that one made. He's also looking to the inside of Ken Campbell. It looks like Thomas Harmon there got a little bit tight, almost ran into the 3 of Paul Cox. Now we're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. 12 of Matt Burgess on the extreme inside. And sliding up in front of Chris Champeau goes the 12 of Matt Burgess. But all that did was that helped Ken Campbell there defend from Matt Burgess. Now Burgess working on the inside of Champeau again. Oh, a little bit of contact there as I came out of the corner. Burgess probably thought that the 2 of Chris Champeau was going to be a little bit higher than that on the exit of the corner. Oh, very close quarters. They keep racing this hard. We might end up with a caution here shortly. Now 12 of Matt Burgess again, flying to the inside of Chris Champeau. And he got tight, slid up the track a little bit, and that's allowed the 3 of Paul Cox to make it 3 wide on the front stretch. It looks like Matt Burgess is starting to lose out now. Thomas Harmon up in the 7th. He's trying to make his way through this pack a little bit. We also got Joe Salama on the back of this pack trying to get around Paul Cox. Furious driving all over the track right now. 3 wide they go, coming out of 4. Kyle Kraus just didn't have the momentum to maintain. And what this has really done is this has allowed Mel Horton and TJ Crampton to pull away a little bit. In fact, they've pulled away so much that these guys aren't even in the draft for them anymore. The 2 of Chris Champeau takes over 3rd finally. Now let's see if he can pull away from Ken Campbell as the 38 of Thomas Harmon pulling to the inside of Kyle Kraus. Guys now arguing over the 5th position. And Harmon takes it. And he pulls up to the inside of Ken Campbell as well. He's going to be disadvantaged by not having a draft. Although it looked like Chris Champeau was trying to play middle of the road there on the back straight, giving the draft to both of them. But through 3 and 4, Thomas Harmon gets that job done. Joe Slimer gets around the outside of Matt Burgess. That's for 7th. Kyle Kraus tried to get to the inside of Ken Campbell, couldn't make that one work. And Chris Champeau and Thomas Harmon had pulled away from this pack ever so slightly. Now look at the 60 of Kyle Kraus. trying to work to the inside of Matt Burgess. And we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, more racing action here from the Michigan International Speedway coming up shortly. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Michigan International Speedway for the Autism It's Not for Wimps 160. And TJ Crampton has taken over the lead from Matt Horton. And the two of Christian Poe and the 38 of Thomas Harmon have caught up to these two. As we are nearing the halfway mark, the green flag pit stops might be a thing very shortly. The 38 of Thomas Harmon trying to work on the inside of two of Christian Poe. Very close quarters here. Oh, as Matt Horton, the 33, just rubbed the wall there coming out of turn 2. That's going to ruin his momentum a little bit. They also spooked Thomas Harmon and Chris Champeau. They both just about dove to the infield on the track to make sure they didn't run into him. There is the two of Chris Champeau trying to get up underneath Matt Horton. Thomas Harmon in P2. And there we go, Christian Poe now taking over third. What it looks like in the background, Ken Campbell. Also dodging around someone who got into the fence, not sure who that was. These guys are all joining in on this battle as well. And don't tell me it was Matt Horton that hit the wall again. Because I think it was. Falling down the order. He's fallen all the way down to 7th now. As it looks like green flag pit stops have commenced. The 39 James Watson, the first one to pit. Brian Harris surprisingly the fastest lap of the race. 39.516. See how Brian Kemi trying to get around Matt Horton. Let's check in on league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez. He's just lost all of his momentum getting tight. In fact, he's coming into the pits. Let's see how he does for a pit stop. Kyle Kraus also coming in. And it looks like in the background is 65. Corey Steinhauser also coming in for a pit stop. And so too does the 24, Frank Isaacson. Frank sliding through for Sanchez. Misses his box a little bit. As here goes Jaron. Oh, and he spun in the pit lane. Sanchez has done goofed. He spun it out in the pit lane. Now he's coming out behind Steinhauser. We have the 64 and the 8 who have now come into the pits. That's Jonas Marquez and Brian Harris. It's going to be very interesting to see what the call is going to be here for when you pit. The 13 of Travis Masia comes into the pits. So too does the 6 and the 66. That's Sam Niederhelm. The 66. The 6 of Robert DeVore. And it looks like the 60 of Kyle Kraus coming back to the pits. Because something went horribly wrong there for his pit stop. Yeah, the tyre strategy around here is going to be interesting. You get the fast tyre advantage early and then try and maintain position, or do you go to the end of your fuel and try and go past as many cars as you can with the fresher tyres? The 33 of Matt Horton has just come into the pits. This kind of strategy could work out really well for the likes of Steinhauser in the 65. Came down exactly on halfway. You see Matt Burgess just getting absolutely monstered by some of these cars with fresher tyres. Brandon Bennett and the 1 has come into the pits. So if we were to get a caution right now, James Watson, Peter Lucky Dog wave around. Oh, just about a caution there. As I think that was the 9 of Joe Salama getting up into the fence. We got a traffic jam. A lot of people on fresh tyres, a lot of people not on fresh tyres. We're 3 wide. As more people come in. Harmon, Crampton and Champeau. Also got Ken Campbell and Paul Cox all pitting at the same time. This leaves Burgess, Pizzacchemi and Salama. Burgess is leading the way. And it looks like Burgess and Pizzacchemi coming in this time. So now Joe Slama leading the way. And he officially leads the lap as well. Just as I said, Steinhauser, who was down in like 18th before that pit stop cycle, up into 10th right now. Sam Niederhelm in 11th. Yeah, he got a big benefit from it as well. There is the 2 of Chris Champeau. He was in the top 3. And Slama has just pitted this time. There's a little bit of a train forming up here behind Steinhauser. The 15 of Kyle Kraus, the 2 of Chris Champeau, and the 3 of Paul Cox, all looking at getting underneath him. 66 of Sam Niederhelm wants to get around him as well. And again, side by side goes Speedway Memes Motorsports and Speedway Memes Media. These guys with fresher tyres now catch up to the 64 of Marquez. They got much fresher tyres than him by about 6 laps. Niederhelm has gotten around Steinhauser. Thomas Harmon and TJ Crampton are back to leading the way. To 13 of Travis Massier just behind him. Frank Isaacson is a lap down, is there as well. I'm hearing Frank actually came to the pits with a flat tyre. Let's see how this battle is going to unfold between these two. As we're nearing the 3/4 mark in this race, looks like 15 of Ken Campbell had his hands full there coming out turn 2. He was getting around Frank Isaacson. He got the 2 of Chris Champeau right on his tail. 3 of Paul Cox is there as well. Looks like they're going to make a move on Travis Massier here. Going to give Campbell and Champeau 3rd and 4th. And looks like Paul Cox is going to take over for 5th. This would be another battle worthy of keeping our eyes on. It looks like everyone else is all strung out. Let's see what the Boris Sanchez is. He's down in 19th right now, as he is behind Adam Bowden by about 0.3 of a second. He's catching up to him. There's 8 lap fresher tyres, so he should be able to make this move stick. We now look at the 66 of Sam Niederhelm. Looks like an interesting little battle back here with the 6 and the 65. Steinhauser and Devore. Devore was just about pushing Steinhauser into turn 3. As they're both trying to catch up to Jonas Marquez. Oh, Devore just ran into the fence a little bit there. Coming out of turn 4. Devore running the extreme outside line. Steinhauser. What a great run on the inside of 1 and 2. Devore, though, using the momentum to catch back up to Steinhauser here on the back straight. Steinhauser with his right hand tyres on that second seam. It's another good run coming out of 4. You see 66 of Sam Niederhelm. He's trying to catch up to the 39 of James Watson. Got a battle for 4th between the 3 and the 15. Paul Cox and Ken Campbell. Looks like Cox has got that move just made. Now we just have 23 laps to go. So I think we are going to go to a commercial break here. And when we come back, we'll be going to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Welcome back to the Autism It's Not for Wimps 160, right here from the Michigan International Speedway. Thomas Harmon still leading the way from TJ Crampton. Still Chris Champeau in 3rd with Paul Cox in 4th. We have just 15 and a quarter laps left to run in this race. Going to be hard to beat Thomas Harmon when he gets to the front like this. But TJ Crampton is definitely going to try. Let's go through and see how the rest of the field is doing. There is the 2 of Chris Champeau, as you see the 38 Thomas Harmon trying to break the draft there. He's also got the 3 of Paul Cox and the 15 of Ken Campbell there with him. Behind these guys we have the 12 of Matt Burgess sitting in P6. Just behind him is the 78 of Brian Pizzacchemi. And we're going to go back 3.2 seconds to the 13 of Travis Massia. We're going to go back another 1.9 to the 33 of Matt Horton, who's made a pretty good recovery. Then we go back to the 8 of Brian Harris, who is currently in P10. But Joe Slama starting to make some moves here. He's getting underneath the Sam Niederhelm in the 66. Frank Isaacson just on the back of this pack as well. He is a lap down. Behind these guys is the 39 of James Watson. You can see just behind him the 64 of Jonas Marquez. We have the 65 of Corey Steinhauser, and behind him the 6 of Robert DeVore. The 1 of Brandon Bennett. And then 5.3 seconds behind him is the lap down car, the 60 of Kyle Kraus. And a fair bit behind him is the 4 of Joan Sanchez, and it's 3.6 seconds back to the 83 of Adam Bowden. That is how the order stands right now. Let's go back to the 66 of Sam Niederhelm, who's locked in battle with Joe Salama here. And Brian Harris is a part of this little battle as well. James Watson technically is, but he's separated by Frank Isaacson, who is a lap down. Looks like some fierce battling going on behind these guys as well, with DeVore and Steinhauser still. Those guys have been locked together the entire race. Looks like Slama's gotten around Niederhelm now. Of course, someone going for a big move back here. That was the 1 of Brandon Bennett getting around Robert DeVore. But 10 laps to go. And we've got a battle for the lead. The 61 of TJ Cranton just taken first from Thomas Harmon. Thomas doing the over-under, getting back underneath the TJ, coming out of turn 2. Side by side they go into turn 3. TJ really pinching down on Thomas Harmon on the entry to the corner. Thomas getting a fairly solid exit there. Oh, as they just about touch. Both of them trying to side draft off each other. 9 laps left in this race now. And the question is going to be, who can take this out? Well, TJ Cranton's so close to the wall there coming out of turn 2. But side by side, it's still they actually touched that time. Ken Campbell also trying to make a late charge. He's in a battle with the 2 of Chris Champeau right now. But we're enthralled with this battle for the lead. As TJ Cranton relinquishes it back to Thomas Harmon. Just 8 laps to go. And who is going to come out on top? Looks like the 12 of Matt Burgess also battling it out with Paul Cox. Go check in on this battle for third, see how that one's going. Who's on the inside, the 15 on the outside. Chris Champeau has it coming out of turn 4. Let's see if Campbell can get it back here on the main straight. And these guys being side by side like this is actually inviting Burgess and Paul Cox back into this battle. Swooping around the outside goes the 15 of Campbell. But swooping back on the inside is the 2 of Chris Champeau. Couldn't quite get there this time. He pulls back up. The two leaders have a 2-second lead over Ken Campbell in third. It looks like that battle is still on in earnest for the third position. Chris Champeau back to the bottom of the track in 1 and 2, and he gets the move made. Moves himself back up into third. Campbell trying to battle back on Chris Champeau, goes to the inside in 3. Stays there for 4. Champeau trying to use the momentum of that outside line. He's side drafting. Got 5 laps left to run in this race. 12 of Matt Burgess is now in this battle as well. Campbell gets it in 1 and 2. Chris Champeau trying to diamond off the corner a little bit, get a better run down the back straight. And he makes a run back to the inside of Ken Campbell now. And he gets that move made before the exit of 4. Just have 4 laps left to run in this race. Crampton and Harmon seem to be pretty content for the moment. They're probably waiting for the last couple of laps to really start their battle. As here comes the 12 of Matt Burgess. He's trying to take over 4th. There's contact. And it looks like the 3 Paul Cox is going to take advantage of Burgess getting sideways after contacting with Ken Campbell. That's going to move Paul Cox back up into 5th. Now Cox has his eyes set on Campbell. As Harmon and Crampton catch up to the lap down car of Adam Bowden. They go side by side again now in turn 2. Oh, there's almost contact there. I think there was just a tiny smidge of contact coming through turn 2. Paul Cox, he's gotten around Ken Campbell. Campbell might have hit the wall coming out of 2, because that's also allowed the 12 of Matt Burgess through. Here we go, they cross the line this time for 2 laps left to run in this race. Now who is going to take out the win? That is going to be the ultimate question. Is it going to be Harmon? Is it going to be Crampton? Harmon snaking along the back straight to try and break the draft. Crampton sticking with him. As here we go, it's white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. And it looked like Harmon that time got a little bit unsettled coming off the apron. Crampton gets a nice run through turn 2 that time. He is right on the bumper of Harmon. He pulls to the inside going into turn 3. Just about a touch as they both go super deep into the corner. They're up by the wall. There is a touch. As now Crampton dives down to the inside of the track. Oh, there's a big touch. Oh, I can't call it at the line. Just about nothing in it. It looks like Thomas Harmon has come home with the win. And that couldn't have been more than 1,000th of a second. Chris Champeau taking home P3. Paul Cox in 4th. Matt Burgess comes home in 5th. That was an incredible race for the win there between Harmon and Crampton. just about falling into the favour of Cranton coming out of 4. But Harmon comes home victorious. Here for the Autism, it's not the Wimp, not for Wimps or 160. And now Harmon is going to celebrate with some burnouts. Oh, a little bit of a tap there with Bowden. Harmon's going to burn up the grass. We're going to go for a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have driver interviews to make sure you guys stay tuned. And now it's time for driver interviews. Coming in first, we got our third place getter here tonight. It's going to be, of course, the 2 of Mr. Chris Champo. Chris, uh, back to our same old green flag run the entire race, but this one was made a little bit more difficult with the right front getting very hot and burning up very quickly.
Yeah, I definitely, that first one was trying to save it pretty hard, and unfortunately, I got stuck behind some cars that I had let by, and it took me a while to get back ahead of them. But once we got about, I don't know, 35 laps in, it really started to rotate for me, so it was driving actually really well. I was just going to go until the fuel ran out of it, so. And that's basically what I did. So I was pretty happy with the first run, and it allowed me to basically push it the whole time in the second run and not really have to worry about anybody. Didn't catch the leaders, but still pretty good run, I think.
So, how good did it feel to finally get those new tires on the car? Because you went for, as you said, the entire fuel run, and those tires must have been feeling pretty secondhand by the end of it.
Yeah, it felt really good. It's always one of those things when you get the new tires in the car, you want to like haul ass because you're like, wow, it grips, and then you regret that about 20 laps later when it goes straight into a wall. Um, but it definitely felt good, and like I said, since I went so far into it, I think we only had 30 laps I had to make it on the second set. I pushed it pretty hard, and tires still had 70% at the end of the race, so I feel like I did something right.
All right, now let's talk about just the ending of the race there. A very close battle between TJ and Thomas in front of you. How did you
Just
see it from out of your windscreen?
Yeah, well, that whole last run, I pit right behind them, and then I overdrove my pit box, so I was about a second and a half behind them coming out of the pits. So I basically was about a second and a half to 2 seconds that entire run right behind them, and they kept, you know, hanging out there for a while, and then they'd fight for a few laps, and they'd start to catch up. And then that last lap, they were fighting pretty hard, and I was kind of hoping that one would put the other into the wall, and maybe they'd spin out, and like the seas would just part, and I could take the victory. I feel like that's how it was supposed to go down, but they had a different idea, I guess.
All right, Chris. Now let's look forward towards next week. Next week we're going to be going to the Richmond Raceway. What's the feeling like for you as we start heading to Richmond?
I like Richmond. I usually race pretty good at Richmond. Assuming I don't get wrecked somewhere along the lines, I have pretty good races there. So I know we have pretty good speed at Richmond. It's not quite as much of a tire saving track as say Michigan, but it definitely you gotta save the tires. So if we can save tires and not lose too many spots and late, I don't know if it's gonna go green or not. It seems to be a crapshoot this season. So if it can go green and we can get some good late run speed, I think we got a shot at top three. I mean, it seems to be Thomas, TJ, and myself pretty much every week, except for last week because I got ran over. But you never know.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Chris. But before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, it's good to see Jaron back in the car. Uh, hopefully, he gets some practice. Doesn't spin it in the pits next week.
Well, hopefully, because that was quite comical from the broadcast perspective. But thanks for coming out, Chris. Congratulations on taking home third, and we look forward to seeing you next week in Virginia.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, guys. So that was our third place getter here tonight, the two of Mr. Chris Champo. Coming up next, we're going to have our Hard Charger Award winner. And today's Hard Charger is also our second place driver. And our second place driver is, of course, 61 of Mr. TJ Crampton. TJ, great race out there from you today. And, it was a bit of a difficult race with the right front wearing out so incredibly much. But you made it work and you come home not only with P2, but with the hard charger on us as well.
yeah, I'm not the best qualifier, especially in this car. So I made my way through the field pretty quick, and I think I was up in the top five within the first two laps. And once I got behind Matt Horton, I just kind of rided behind him and see what kind of line he was taking, and ultimately just tried to save my stuff as best as I could. And I felt like I did a good job that first run, and then the second run, trying to chase Thomas down, I just overcooked my stuff, and I tried a last lap send, and it's very close. But uh, a P2 and a hard charger is nothing to slouch about.
Well, definitely not, especially not with having such a close battle for the checkered flag. Uh, Something like a thousandth of a second between yourself and Thomas coming to the line, and that's gonna be a pretty good feeling. It's not good to lose by a thousandth of a second, but pretty good considering Thomas is obviously the pace guy, and you're showing that you're up there with some pace.
Yeah. I'm just trying to stop Thomas from winning every single race. Um, I got close, but I just have to try again next week.
All right, now before we let you go, we are going to be going to Richmond, Virginia next week. What's it feeling like for you heading from a 2 mile track to what is it, like a 3/4 mile track?
Yeah, I think it's 0.75. So, um, Richmond is hit or miss. Depends really on the car. I don't know how much track time I have at Richmond with this car, but I'll put some laps in and we'll see how it goes at Richmond.
All right, well, before we let you go here tonight, TJ, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
I want to thank you for broadcasting, even though it is not live anymore, but still, I love rewatching the races. I want to thank Jaron for putting on a great league, everybody who shows up, and I want to thank Matthew at JEM Racing for the opportunity, and also Thomas for a great battle we had there for the last some like 20 laps.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, TJ. Congratulations on the Hard Charger Award and P2. Look forward to seeing what you can do next week when we go to Richmond.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that was our second place getter and our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner, 61, of Mr. TJ Crampton. Coming up next, we have our race winner, and of course, by 1,000th of a second, tonight's race winner, 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Thomas, finishers don't get any bloody closer than that, do they?
Maybe by like an inch, but there's definitely, yeah, not much there.
Now, let's talk about the race as a whole. You decided not to qualify in this race, and you worked your way through the field. What was it like for you, especially in that first one, with everyone being on equal tires, trying to work your way through what was a very difficult to navigate race with the right front burning up so incredibly?
Yeah, with the I don't know, probably lap 20 to 30. Once I got up to the group of like third through eighth or something, it just got so hard because they would line up on the outside as soon as somebody went low just for that pass, and then thankfully they got a little broken up, and I was able to get by him and then run TJ down just before the pit cycle there.
All right, now let's talk about the post pit cycle. The tires were great for another 10-ish laps or so. And, you and TJ put in an incredible performance towards the end of that race.
Yeah, I didn't like the draft being as strong as it was, but it is what it is. But yeah, I was trying to get him to burn his stuff and kept trying to give him dirty air and trying to break the draft. But just with as strong as the draft is down the straights, there's not much you can do about it. Um, yeah, the battle of the finish was that was nerve wracking.
All right, Thomas, now let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be going to the Richmond Raceway. What's the feeling like for you as we head into the Virginias?
Well, Richmond's a track. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's just kind of there. I race it. So I look for somebody else to get the win.
Alrighty, so there's a hot tip. Someone else might win next week. Might being the operative word. But Thomas, before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you up in the booth, all the drivers that show up each week, all the fans that watch every race, the admins, Jaron for putting on the league, and Avril on the car.
All right, thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Congratulations on taking home another win. We look forward to seeing what we can do next week when we head to Richmond.
Thanks, sir. Have a good one.
All right, guys, that is going to wrap up our broadcast for today. Thank you all for coming out, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week when we go to Richmond. So until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you in Virginia.